Would you buy this Section 8 turnkey property today, knowing what is going on with Section 8? So my husband Pat does investor walkthrough inspections in Detroit, Michigan, and he did a couple yesterday where he was hired. He charges $250. He walks through. He says it's going to need this, this, and this. We know exactly what it takes to pass a city inspection. We know what it takes to pass a Section 8 inspection. At this point, we've renovated around 300 houses in the city of Detroit. We have our own buy and holds. We see through the eyes of an investor, and we know a lot about property management. We know what to expect. So it's a different inspection than hiring a private inspector. Oops, I forgot to say something. Let me interrupt here quick. Pat and I are in the business of buying distressed properties. We renovate them and we sell them to investors from all over the country and all over the world. And we have a really great property manager that we are referring people to that buy our houses. And our deal is that we get you through that first Section 8 or city inspection as part of the deal. So if that is something that you are interested in, you can buy a house in Detroit for $85,000, $90,000. It's still a great city to invest in. So he was doing that yesterday. And so I want to tell you the story about those inspections that he did yesterday. But I'm going to tell you at the end here is a video that he made of a vacant house. This one does not have a Section 8 tenant in it, but it's an incredibly helpful video because he goes through and he points at all the stuff that he knows that the city or Section 8 is going to call out. People had bought this house and they hired somebody to renovate it, and the crew, I don't know what happened. I kind of came in at the end. They just asked me to find a buyer for it. I did find a buyer for it. I'm in the process of selling it, so I'm not really giving away the address yet, but it's in a great neighborhood in Detroit. So that's coming. So you'll like that part of the video, but I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday when Pat was house shopping, because he goes to this house, and he did a couple houses and I might be mixing them up. But anyway, so he goes to this house and the owners showed up and they were trying to tell him that this passed a Section 8 inspection, but it did not have the correct GFI plugs. And he was like, no. And they said, oh yeah, this did, and this will pass, and we know. He's like, They didn't really know who they were talking to with him, and there's no way it passed. And they said it had a Section 8 tenant, and that the rent was $1,600 a month, and it was a 3-bedroom house, but they had a 2-bedroom voucher. Red flags all over the place. If you enjoy this video, the best thank you can give me is to subscribe. It keeps me motivated to keep making you more quality content like this. Okay, first of all, it couldn't have passed a Section 8 inspection. So Pat got to wondering, maybe this is one of those things that people call it Section 8, but it was really some kind of private organization, some kind of nonprofit that put the people in there. And they'll do that. They did at least pay premium rent to get tenants that were homeless usually into a housing situation, and that's when you see a 3-bedroom house getting $1,600 a month rent. But from my experience, if it's an organization like that, that is limited. They're not never-ending funds like HUD, which isn't really unlimited anymore, Section 8. So if I were the buyer, I would want to see the paperwork from the organization that is funding it. If it's Section 8, it's called an adjustment notification. If the tenant has been there a while, every time the tenant's income changes or every year that there's an annual inspection, they send out a new adjustment notification. And that tells you when the annual inspection is going to be, and it tells you how much the tenant has to pay a month, and it tells you how much Section 8 is paying. I would want to see that. I would want to know what organization that's coming from, just so that I had some kind of confirmation that this is for real. And I would, and if you're in doubt, you can always call that organization and say, is this a forever thing? And even if it's Section 8, let's say it is a legit Section 8, which it can't be because Section 8 is not giving $1,600 a month rent. The tenant may have a $1,600 a month voucher, but that doesn't mean that that's the amount of rent that you're allowed to charge the tenant. It just didn't add up. And if the tenant had a 2-bedroom voucher, they certainly in Detroit aren't getting a voucher that would cover $1,600 a month rent. But you can call the organization, ask them details about this voucher. How long does it last? Now with Section 8, because of all this cut in the funding, when they get their next annual recertification, their next annual inspection, we've been seeing Section 8 taking that rent amount down and saying, if you want to keep the tenant, you're going to get this much less rent per month. Who knows how much less? So you can't plan your numbers around, oh, I got a house with a tenant that's $1,600 a month. The other thing that I think is going to happen, and this is just me speculating, I think what Section 8 is going to start doing is they're going to make it super easy to kick people off the voucher. A big beef I've always had with Section 8 is there can be a really bad tenant. I can give them a complaint about this tenant. I can give them pictures of how they trashed the house. I can show them all the times I had to send notices because they were behind on their portion, and the tenant keeps their voucher. On and on and on, they keep their voucher. I kind of wonder, now that their funding has been cut by 44%, are the tenants really going to keep their vouchers as easily as they do now? Probably not. And the other thing that I really wonder is we get 2 inspections. The first time the inspector comes out and says, fix all this stuff, Section 8. And so you tell your handyman to go fix all this stuff. It's not uncommon that a handyman either misses something or misinterprets what the inspector is asking for. And if that happens, the house goes into what's called abatement and we get no rent at all until we get that 3rd inspection. Maybe they won't give us the 3rd inspection. Maybe, and I have seen this, that they drag it out forever before they allow you that 3rd inspection because they save a boatload of money waiting for that 3rd inspection. So, we don't know exactly how this is going to go. So if I were buying a house right now that had a Section 8 tenant, I would confirm it's truly Section 8. I would base my numbers on market rent for a 3-bedroom right now, which is around $1,200 for a cash paying tenant. That's maybe, comment below. If you're in Detroit, what's the cash paying tenant's 3-bedroom? I'm thinking it's right around $1,250, maybe $1,300, but I wouldn't go any higher than at least $1,300 to calculate how much rent I'm going to get if this Section 8 tenant loses her voucher. So now let's get into Pat's tour of this house and all the things that the crew should have done that they didn't do, but that need to be done. And if you're buying a house, you need to know what you're looking at, because at first sight it looks kind of good, but then when you get into it with Pat's eyes, really needs a lot. Wait to see the driveway. So let's get into it.
All right, here we are. This is the east side of Detroit. We're looking at this house for a potential buyer, and quote unquote, it's ready. And until you have somebody that's been doing this for quite some time, ready and my ready are 2 different things when it comes to Section 8 inspections or city inspections. This is a nice neighborhood here. Mostly, well, it looks like it's all brick neighborhood, but really nice little neighborhood. And this is a nice house. It's just the things that most people don't recognize. One, this tree is awful. It's huge, it's beautiful, but it's awful. The only bonus is it's in the front yard, so it's not affecting the sewer in the back, because all the sewer lines go out the back. The problem with it is it's ruined this driveway, and this would never pass a Section 8 inspection. So that can be an expensive job. You're looking at $5,000 to $7,000 probably to replace this driveway. But that is definitely a Section 8 problem. Anything with trip hazards. Plus it's pitch into the house, so no good. All right, the next thing I see out here is this awning. Usually the awnings over the windows we just take down. They're really not much purpose besides more maintenance every season or every other season. But that top part is part of the house, so that'll have to be scraped and painted to get rid of the peeling paint. And then these 3 small awnings over the windows would come down And then the awning over the porch is in good shape, and that's never been painted, so it's not peeling. We'd have to clean that up and probably put a coat of outdoor paint on it. The other strange thing that people don't think will get called out by inspectors is the tuck pointing on the porch. There and on the step. And then up here around this window, you can see the tuck pointing that needs to be done. I know they're little things, but inspectors like to find stuff, and those are the things they call out. Let's go in the back here. You can see this driveway is pretty rough. Back here, if you look up there, that fascia board has a piece of trim on it, but then it's missing the rest of the way. Section 8 would call that out for unfinished trim, and that would need to be wrapped. Not a big deal, but it would have to be wrapped. And then trim around the windows. That one's a little bent up there, and this one's missing, so that would have to be done. Another famous one for them is the dryer vent cover. That one's been blocked with foam, but that would have to be replaced. And the yard needs a good cleanup. And then these trees, you know, if I'm buying a house, I don't want trees hanging over it the whole way, just wear and tear on the roof. This is a fairly new roof, a couple years old, so it's not helping out with that at all. Let's go inside and take a look. All right, here we are. Doorknob missing there. I can't open it because it's no knob on it, but the doors have to open and they have to latch. This room looks pretty good. You gotta make sure, I checked these already, but you gotta make sure that the windows go up and they stay up so that they don't slam down. Go through here to bedroom 1. Good, clean room. This door is okay because it actually functions and has latches. This door is completely missing the casing, so this door would have to be replaced. Trying to pull this old thing apart, get in a new casing, we could change a door a lot quicker than messing around with that. Same with this one. It's just a mess. It will never work again. It's all been banged up, so change that door. Bathroom, you know, pretty clean. Not much really to do in here. Medicine cabinet. You know, you have to make sure obviously the GFIs and all that are working correctly. I tested these. These are. The other thing to watch for is in these older houses, they're just a 2-wire system for electrical. And a lot of people change them out and put in the grounded plug. Well, it's still ungrounded. It just makes it more convenient for them to plug things in. But they have to be the 2-prong outlet for them to pass an inspection. That's nice, glass block window. Just a 2-bedroom house. Kind of nice how they open this up to the living room like that. Gives it a little more appearance of more space. And here's the kitchen. Same with the plugs in here, need to be grounded and correctly installed for the GFIs. Here's the cabinets. Not my choice in color, but they're functional and they work just fine. You know, there's no need to change those. Really want a really weird one for Section 8. When you do a countertop like this and the edge is exposed like this, it has to be painted or sealed somehow. Usually we just put the Formica ends on them, but like this right here, a Section 8 inspector would fail that because it's not sealed or Formica'd. So there we are with the kitchen. Let's go downstairs. I don't know how much light we have, but all right. Water heater goes here. Those would have to be new. The plumbing's been converted over to PEX. That's nice. There's no lights over here. And obviously a new furnace would have to go in. But pretty good basement. We'll have to get to the water department here to install the meter. If the meters sit for too long, especially through a winter, they just crack. And this one's straight piped right now, so it's free water. But we'd have to hook that back up. Standard now for DTE is that the gas meters all need to be on the outside of the house. So they come and they do that for free, but you got to make the appointment and do it. And I think part of the reason is that, you know, they put a lock on this one because obviously the bill wasn't getting paid, but it doesn't take much to just cut that off in your basement when nobody's here. So that'll have to be moved outside. It's nice, it's got glass block window. The PEX plumbing's been done. Let's see if this works. Yeah. So this looks like just an old utility sink or something. The old plumbing for the old utility, so get rid of that. This right here, the peeling paint on this duct would have to be scraped and painted. Actually, probably just scrape it and try to get all the paint off there. There's no need to paint that. The heat running through there just makes the paint curl and buckle and peel off there too. And then like these outlets will have to be covered. You have to have junction box covers on them. This is the old doorbell connection, so we just get rid of that and then replace that with the right pull chain. But those are the things that I see when I'm looking. Yeah, the place is in great shape, but there's, you know, a fair amount of detail stuff to do. Most of the expensive stuff is outside. The stuff in here is pretty minimal, really. Needs a really good cleaning. It's pretty dirty after renovation. So that's it. East side of Detroit, nice neighborhood, good house.